Brand new Madolche cards, we got a new Valmonica, and it would appear that there might be a new Ash Blossom, but we don't quite have confirmation yet. Sure, guys, smash the crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. There's been a lot of news today. I mean, an absolute lot. So, Madolche's got a quick effect, by the way, which is insane to think about. So this is the Madolche Queen Tiara Frese. This is going to be, that's a rank 5, by the way. It requires 3 Madolche level 5 monsters to make. But don't worry, you can also exceed some of this card by using a Madolche Tiara Misu you control and transferring those materials onto this. So, once per opponent's turn, quick effect, detach 1 material from this card, and then target up to 2 Madolche cards in your graveyard. Shuffle them into the deck, and if you do, shuffle up to that many cards your opponent controls into the deck. They really gave Madolche a quick effect Tiara Misu by allowing you to put this on top of Tiara Misu. Okay. If this card in your possession is destroyed by your opponent and sent to the graveyard, return it to the extra deck. So yes, this actually does reload itself back up as a resource for you to be able to reuse, which is actually pretty good when you think about it. From everything I have heard from every Madolche player today, looking at this card, they are so excited for this, and I do think you're going to have a lot of Madolche gimmicks out here, at least testing this, even though Nibiru, I think, is still going to be a little bit of an issue for this deck. Now, this is also something I didn't think they would get. This is the Madolche Munard Miacaron, and it's going to be a Link 3, and it has to be 2+ effect monsters, including a Madolche monster. That's right, everybody. Madolche got one of the cutest Link 3s that you ever would have thought that they would get. So you can only use the first and second effects of this card's name per turn. So, if this card is Link Summon, you can add any Madolche card from your deck to your hand. Wait, what's that? This searches for Promenade, Salon, any monster that you need. Oh crap, they actually just gave Madolche a universal searcher. A little bit of a costly one, but that's fine. And then we can target 1 monster in your graveyard. You cannot activate non-Madolche effects for the rest of this turn, and then special summon a Madolche monster from your hand. And if you do, shuffle the target into the deck. Wait a minute here. So you're telling me that I just target a monster in my graveyard, I get to beam out another one? So this is a beast. So I could technically search for Messengelato off of this, use the second effect, be able to trigger special summon the Messengelato from the hand, and get a search. Oh, that's pretty good. Notes here. Meow, while containing the meow pun, it's not a word itself. It may be a pun on macaron or minar, both meaning cute or little, and possibly bite-sized dessert. So, okay, now, we did get a new trap card, and this is the Madolche Dessert on a normal trap. So you can only use the first effect of this card's name once per turn. Alright, well, you can only use one of the effects once per turn, only once that turn. So we can take or target 2 effect monsters on the field, including at least 1 Madolche monster. And do keep in mind this does say on the field, by the way. And then return those effect monsters to the hand or extra deck, and you can special summon a Madolche monster from your hand or extra deck with attack equal to or less than the returned monster's total original attack. Wait a minute. This, we can use our opponent's cards for this? Is that what I'm reading for this? As long as, you bounce back a Madolche on your field and an opponent's monster, you get to beam out a free Madolche monster from the hand or extra deck? Like, okay. And then if a Madolche card or cards is returned from your graveyard to the deck and or extra deck while this card is in your graveyard, you can attach this card to 1 Xyz monster you control as material. Man, why does this have to say you can only use 1 of the effects of this card's name per turn, only once that turn? Being able to cycle this on up as a material at the same time that you could bring out the Tiara Misu Link 5 and have a further interruption defensive play against your opponent might have been a little bit too much, but I'm not gonna lie, I think that would have been actually pretty cool to have seen. But this Madolche stuff is some of the most exciting that we have actually had the chance to see so far, and genuinely I'm kind of excited for this. Now, We did get some stuff from the commercial. Some of the text is a little bit unreadable, unfortunately. So you'll be probably seeing some of these, at least not this one. You'll be seeing some of the other stuff eventually popping back up later on this channel as we kind of discuss some of these further. But this is your new Valmonica Hymn Link 5. Or excuse me, Link 2. I don't know. It's essentially a Link 5, the way you're going to have to make this thing. But it's 3,000 attack, by the way. This thing, 3,000 attack for some reason. So it's bottom left, bottom right, but it's 2 monsters, including a Valmonica Link monster. And we've seen how hard it is to make those Valmonica Link monsters. But unaffected by non-Valmonica cards, while you have 6 or more resonance counters on cards you control. So remember, the gimmick of this deck was setting up the scales, being able to have your cards essentially, feeding for those, and you would use them to interact with your opponent's cards. It's an interesting gimmick. For each level 4 Valmonica monster you control, this card gains 1 additional attack during each battle phase. That's not restricted to monsters only. So if you have 2 level 4s, you can do 9,000 damage with this. And then once per turn, when your opponent would special summon a monster's quick effect, you negate that summon if you do destroy that monster, and then remove 3 resonance counters from your field. I don't know why I feel like I wouldn't want to take away my resonance counters from this. I feel like I want this to be up and running as long as we can as an unaffected boss monster, but 3,000 attack points doesn't really give you too much these days to work with, I feel like. Okay. So this card and the next one we're going to talk about here, the text is pretty defined. Do keep in mind that we will have further confirmation for these later on. But this is 3 as 1 on a normal trap card. This is our lore trap for the set. So during your opponent's end phase, oh boy, if your opponent has more cards on the field and hand than you do, you can special summon 3 normal monsters from your graveyard. First of all, this is rough. I'm not a super huge fan of the way that this card operates, but okay, it means I gotta get 3 Ojamas into the graveyard to take advantage of this. You can banish this card from your graveyard, target 3 monster cards with different original names you control. Send 1 spell and trap card from your hand or deck that list all 3 of the card's original names onto your field. Congratulations. You got an official card that literally says, hey, you wanna beam this thing on out? You wanna take advantage of those Ojama cards that, for whatever reason, look amazing? Now this card is amazing. But, as I said, I need further confirmation on this. This will probably be a card of the day. I'll go way more into detail when we actually get that and we can confirm what's going on with this. But this is called the Emperor's Keep. Partial reveal. We're kind of missing a little bit of the kanji there. You only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. Also, if your opponent controls a card or cards, you can activate this card from your hand. So, it's going to be infinite permanence as long as your opponent has a card on the field, which, guess what? If your opponent activates something, you'll be able to do this. So the effect of this thing is when a card or effect is activated with an effect that adds a card or cards from the deck to the hand. Negate that effect. Then, if a trap card is in your graveyard, destroy that card. Also, if you activated this card from the hand for the rest of this duel, you cannot activate the effects of cards with the same name as the negated card. So, let's all take that underneath here. First of all, this is multi-faker support. I just want to point that out. If your opponent's attempting to Pot of Prosperity, for example, Elemental Hero Stratos, I hate how those 2 are the first 2 I think of out here, but cards that essentially get this value out here, that you can slam this down, and based on the wording of this, your opponent doesn't have to monster. Just as long as your opponent activates an effect, the downside of this is if they go Mseti on the first effect and then discard, well, they don't technically control a card, so you wouldn't be able to negate that, which is a little bit rough. But I like the way that they're attempting to design this card. But once again, we do not have full confirmation on the text of this yet. I assume we'll have it later on in the week. We'll go way more in depth with this card because, this set gave us a new Max C. This set gave us a new Ash Blossom. This card's already been dubbed Ash Blossom 4, 5, and 6 for a lot of these decks. So, I don't know. There's a lot to be seen, but if this is the case and this card is, the advent of Broken, well, I can't wait to see what they're going to do. But we still have many a card of the days coming. So please, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. Holy crap, what a set release day. Peace out, guys. Patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.